On a rainy night in October 1998, a single shoe washed up on the riverbank of a small town. It didn't belong there. It belonged to a woman who had just disappeared. And by the time they found it, she was already gone. She was 32, quiet, routine-driven, the kind of person who didn't just vanish. She worked late at a local library, lived alone above a bakery, took the same walk home every night, especially along the river. People notice patterns like that. Not at first, but someone always does. That's what made October 12th feel normal. Until it wasn't. She locked up at 8:30 p.m. Same as always. Lights off, doors checked twice. Routine. At 8:47, a customer later told police he saw her through the window, stacking returns. Calm, focused, nothing unusual. At 9:05, security footage caught her leaving the area near an old mill, umbrella in hand. Head down, alone, rain falling steady now. The streets were quieter than usual. Most people had already gone home. That mattered more than anyone realized. At 9:18, her phone pinged one last time, right by the river. Then, nothing. No movement, no signal, no activity, just silence. The next morning, she didn't show up for work. That wasn't like her, not even close. By noon, her family called in. Missing. Police responded quickly, at least on paper. They canvassed the town, knocked on doors, checked hospitals, pulled basic reports. Everything looked correct, procedural, but something was already going wrong. Something small, something easy to miss. They made a decision early on, and it changed everything. They focused on the town, not the river. The one place she was last seen heading. Officers later said it seemed logical at the time. People disappear into towns, not into rivers. But that assumption created a gap, and gaps are where things disappear. Days passed. The rain stopped. Life tried to return to normal, but she didn't. Then witnesses came forward. Not immediately. Days later. That delay mattered. One man had been walking his dog that night, near the mill, around 9:10 p.m. He said he saw a dark van parked by the service road, engine running, lights off. That alone wasn't unusual. But then he noticed something else. A silhouette, two figures near the water, a man and a woman, close together, too close, arguing. He couldn't hear words, just movement, tension. He kept walking, didn't think much of it, until later. Another witness came forward separately, a woman driving home from a late shift. She passed near the same area, around the same time. She said she heard something, a splash, then headlights, a vehicle pulling away quickly. She remembered that part clearly, too clearly, but no one connected them, not properly, not when it mattered. Their statements were logged, filed, left sitting, small details, treated like noise. A week later, the river gave something back. 2 miles downstream, a fisherman spotted it first. Something caught on a branch, half submerged. He pulled it free. Fabric, dark, torn, heavy with water. It looked like part of a jacket, the kind she always wore. He handed it in. Evidence. Bagged, tagged, and then nothing. It sat there for months, untested, waiting, while everything else faded. By the time anyone looked at it, the moment had passed. Witnesses had moved away, memories blurred, details softened. Time had done what it always does. It erased. When the lab finally processed the fabric, the results didn't bring answers. They created more questions. There was DNA, not hers, someone else's, partial, incomplete, enough to confirm contact, not enough to identify. No match in any system. No name. Just proof. She wasn't alone that night. Then there was something else. A trace chemical. An accelerant. The kind used in solvents. Cleaning agents. Or something more deliberate. Something used to destroy evidence. Or move it. Or hide it. That changed everything. This wasn't random. It wasn't a simple disappearance. It suggested planning. Intent. Control. Years passed. The case slowed, then stalled, then nearly disappeared itself, until someone picked it up again. An independent investigator. No pressure, no deadlines, just time and distance. He rebuilt the timeline from scratch, minute by minute, step by step, and what he found should have changed everything. She wasn't just walking home. She was predictable. That route, that time, that habit, it made her visible, easy to track, easy to follow. Someone knew, someone waited. The van wasn't random. Reports from nearby towns described similar vehicles. Same color, same type, seen near other incidents. Nothing proven, but enough to raise questions. Too many similarities, too many patterns. Near the river, everything pointed to one moment, a confrontation, something sudden, something physical. That torn fabric wasn't random. It was evidence of a struggle, right there at the water's edge. And if that was true, then the river wasn't just nearby. It was part of it. But by then, it didn't matter. No body, no confirmed scene, no suspect, just theory. The town fractured. Some demanded answers. Others wanted it left alone, because the deeper you looked, the worse it became. It wasn't one big failure. It was dozens of small ones. A delayed test, an ignored detail, a misconnection, a wrong assumption. Individually, nothing major. Together, everything. Her family never stopped. They pushed for answers, filed petitions, spoke to anyone who would listen. They forced the case back into the light, more than once, and every time, it slipped away again. The suspect list never grew. A few names surfaced. A local with a violent history, a group of transient workers passing through, a vehicle that was never traced. Nothing solid, nothing provable, just fragments. And time. Time did the rest. Witnesses disappeared. Records were lost. Details became unreliable. Even the strongest leads faded. Now all that remains are questions. Why was the river ignored? Why weren't the witnesses connected? Why did key evidence sit untouched? And the one question no one can answer, what actually happened that night? Because someone knows. Someone saw something. Something small. Something they dismissed. A sound. A movement. A detail that didn't seem important at the time. But those are the details that solve cases. A partial license plate. A face in passing. A van parked where it shouldn't be. Anything. Because she didn't just disappear. She slipped through the cracks. And those cracks are still there, waiting. If you remember anything from that night, anything at all, now is the time. Because the truth hasn't gone anywhere. It's still there, somewhere between the river and the moment everything went silent, waiting for someone to finally connect it all.